Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Today we're tackling a really interesting topic: how to actually manifest the life you want.
Manifestation, huh? So we're talking about something beyond just hoping for the best. What should we expect?
Exactly. It's about actively shaping your reality, aligning your desires with your thoughts and actions. I've been reading Carolyn Boyes' book, The Art of Manifesting, and it's a really practical guide to using intentional desire, imagination, and universal spiritual laws to actively shape your reality.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So is this about positive thinking your way into a better life? Is she suggesting we can all manifest a private jet if we just dream about it hard enough?
Not quite, because it's grounded in practical techniques like visualization, gratitude, relaxation, and grounding. It's more about transforming how you think and feel, which then shifts your circumstances.
All right, a little less woo-woo than I expected, which is a good thing. So what are we going to cover specifically today?
Let's dive into 3 main ideas from the book. First, we'll explore the fundamental laws, the blueprint, if you will, that explain how our thoughts influence our reality.
Laws of reality? Sounds a bit grand, but I'm listening. What else have you got for me?
Then we'll get practical with hands-on techniques like visualization and gratitude practices. These are the tools you can actually use to bring your goals to fruition.
So you're saying there's homework involved here, aren't you?
Think of it as life-changing homework. And finally, we'll explore how manifestation is not just about getting things, but also about personal growth, about becoming the best version of yourself.
All right, aligning thoughts, actions, and maybe a little bit of cosmic ordering. I'm curious to see how this all works. Let's get started.
Absolutely. And Michelle, since you're curious, let's dive into the foundational concepts of manifestation, shall we? Understanding these core principles is like, building a solid foundation for a house. You can't expect to build something amazing without understanding how the ground supports it, right? So let's kick things off with the law of attraction and the law of oneness. I see these two as the real engine room of manifesting.
Engine room, huh? Okay, hit me with the law of attraction first. I keep hearing about this like attracts like idea. Isn't that just a fancy way of saying think happy thoughts, get happy stuff?
Well, that's a simplified view, but there's actually a lot more nuance. The law of attraction is really rooted in the concept of vibrational frequencies. Think of your thoughts and emotions as like radio signals you're sending out to the universe. Positive energy aligns with high-frequency opportunities, those moments of joy, growth, all that good stuff. And conversely, negative energy lowers your frequency, which ends up attracting more negativity into your life.
Wait a second. So you're saying my mood is essentially a cosmic antenna? If I'm in a bad mood because I missed my train, am I basically inviting bad things to happen all day?
It's less about individual moments and more about overall patterns. The law of attraction is about consciously choosing where you direct your focus. By intentionally focusing on the positives, and actively working towards them, I might add, we shift our energy to resonate with the reality we want.
Okay, so if I focus really, really hard on being, a successful entrepreneur, I'm suddenly vibing with venture capitalists and IPOs? Or do I actually need to do something besides daydream?
You definitely need more than just daydreams. That's where tools like affirmations, gratitude practices, and visualization come in. They're practical, down-to-earth ways to program your subconscious and really amplify that high vibrational energy you're aiming for. As Carolyn Boyes puts it, these aren't just motivational habits. They're actually reshaping the mental patterns that drive behavior.
Okay, let's break those down. Affirmations first. How are those different from just giving yourself a pep talk in the mirror every morning?
Affirmations go much deeper than just superficial motivation, The idea is to replace limiting beliefs that might be buried in your subconscious. Like, if someone's always believed, I'll never be good with money, they're basically broadcasting that limiting belief into the universe. An affirmation like, I am financially secure and open to abundance, helps to shift that deeper belief. Repetition is everything. It's essentially rewiring your brain for positivity.
Got it. And what about gratitude? Isn't that just, basic politeness directed at the universe?
Well, yes, in a way, but it's much more personal. Gratitude actually changes your brain to actively look for the positive. You're training your focus. By keeping a gratitude journal, constantly acknowledging the good in your life, even the small stuff, you're building momentum for even more abundance. It turns that "I wish I had" into "I already have so much, and there's room to grow."
Interesting. And then there's visualization. Sounds like just zoning out and imagining, success. What am I missing?
Visualization is way more intentional than daydreaming. You aren't just picturing your goal, you're fully immersing yourself in the emotions of having already achieved it. For example, someone seeking financial stability might vividly imagine signing the contract for their dream job, really feeling that pride and satisfaction as if it's already happened. Those strong emotions strengthen the connection between your current energy and that desired outcome.
So it's not just the what, but also the how it feels. That emotional connection apparently closes the deal.
Exactly. And Carolyn Boyes offers a brilliant example of this process in action. She talks about a time when she felt totally overwhelmed by uncertainty after moving to a new country. Her focus was on worry, and that only reinforced her negative emotions. But after she started actually writing down clear, intentional goals and pairing that with a positive attitude, her life transformed within 18 months. It wasn't magic. It was active effort combined with aligned energy.
All right, that's compelling, even a little inspiring. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let me play devil's advocate for a second. What about the law of oneness? Isn't manifestation really about me, my goals, and making my reality better? How does interconnection even fit into this personal vision?
That's such a powerful question, Michelle. The law of oneness actually is what makes manifestation far greater than personal gain. It's about understanding that everything we think and do sends ripples outward and impacts everyone. When you manifest harmony in your inner world, you're actually contributing to harmony in your external world. That could be in your relationships, in your community, or even on a grand, global scale.
So the good energy I'm sending out doesn't just boomerang back to me, it affects other people too? Are we talking about karma here?
It touches on it, but it's not quite the same thing. Karma is often seen as a cause and effect cycle. The law of oneness puts the focus on interconnection. It actually invites us to see ourselves not as individual entities, but rather as part of a vast cosmic web. Like acts of kindness, supporting a friend who's going through a hard time, for example, or giving a colleague a compliment, that sends positive energy out into the universe. And those little actions can actually have effects that are much wider than we initially think.
I like the idea of lifting everyone up together. But it feels very abstract. How does anyone actually do the law of oneness?
Great question. Carolyn actually suggests mindfulness as a good first step. Mindfulness helps us realize how our thoughts and actions are actually connected to those around us. Activities like meditation allow you to step outside ego-driven thinking and really feel more connected to the world.
Okay, and if mindfulness isn't really someone's thing?
Then try something like simple daily reflections. Literally just jotting down the impact of your actions, both good and bad, can shift your awareness. Like, if you notice how uplifting words encouraged someone, it strengthens your commitment to spreading positivity.
That's, actionable. Let's make this even more concrete. What's Roshana's story from your earlier example?
Roshana's challenges were multi-layered. She faced real financial struggles, difficult relationships, felt unfulfilled by her work, the whole package. But instead of seeking external fixes right away, she started to focus inward. She asked herself how her beliefs and her emotions might be contributing to those issues. By rebuilding her inner world, she not only transformed her mindset, but she also transformed her external circumstances.
All right, so her inner alignment created a ripple effect on her relationships and career. That ties nicely back to the law of oneness.
Exactly. And the true beauty of pairing the law of attraction with the law of oneness is that it merges personal ambition with that sense of responsibility for the world we're shaping together. It's manifestation with heart. Exactly. Once you've grasped the foundational principles, the real magic happens when you start applying them to your life. It's where the book shifts from interesting ideas to actionable steps for manifestation.
Okay, I'm all ears. How do these high vibrations actually translate into something tangible I can do? Where do we even start?
Visualization is a great starting point, really the cornerstone of manifestation. But it's more than just daydreaming. Boyes takes it up a notch with techniques like future memory, which involves vividly imagining your goal as already accomplished, adding intense sensory and emotional details.
Future memory? Sounds a bit out there. What's the core idea here?
Think of it this way. You're mentally placing yourself in a moment where your aspiration has already come true, rather than just hoping it will one day. Say you're aiming for financial freedom. Imagine yourself on the balcony of your dream home, feeling the warmth of the railing, taking in the view, experiencing the pride and gratitude, as if it's all happening in the now. Those emotions magnify the impact, signaling to your subconscious that this outcome is not only possible, but inevitable.
I see. It's not just what you see, but how you feel while seeing it. Sounds a bit like self-deception, Alex. Is there actual science to back this up? Does it really affect the brain?
Absolutely. Neuroscience studies have shown that vividly imagining an experience activates the same brain areas as actually living it. By visualizing in detail, you're essentially rehearsing success, training your subconscious to accept this reality. Over time, this rewiring influences confidence, decision-making, and even actions.
So, it's like a mental warm-up for the Olympics of life. But does it work for everyone? Or are some people just naturally better at visualizing?
It takes practice, definitely. But anyone can improve. Boyes stresses pairing visualization with aligned actions. Otherwise, it remains just wishful thinking. She shares her own experience of feeling lost after moving to a new country. She didn't only visualize a better life. She wrote down her goals in detail and imagined them realized daily. Within 18 months, her career, finances, and personal life had transformed. The combination of clarity, emotion, and focused effort was the key.
Writing intentions. I can see how that adds structure. But let's shift a little. Visualization sounds empowering. But what about focusing on what you do have? I'm talking about gratitude. Isn't that a big piece of this?
It's crucial. Gratitude creates a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. Appreciating what you already have, no matter how small, raises your vibration, aligning you to receive more. Keeping a gratitude journal. Writing down 5 things you're thankful for each day is a simple but profound habit that rewires your brain to notice positivity.
The classic gratitude list. But does it have to be about existing things? Or can you extend it to things you don't have yet? Like, thank you, universe, for my future yacht. Isn't that just wishful thinking again?
That's a great clarification. Boyes suggests practicing anticipatory gratitude, thanking the universe for desires that haven't yet manifested as if they already have. Instead of saying, I hope I'll find a great job, you'd say, thank you for the opportunities that allow me to thrive. It's not delusional. It's about affirming trust in the process.
Okay, so preemptive gratitude, like tipping before the meal. But what about gratitude beyond personal gain? Shouldn't there be some element of contributing to the collective good instead of just imagining our dream lives?
That's insightful, Michelle. Cultivating gratitude beyond personal gain enriches the process. Boyes encourages looking at interconnectedness, reflecting on how your stability allows you to give back. Maybe that fulfilling job allows you to donate time or resources, creating a ripple effect of abundance for others. Gratitude isn't just about what you get. It's about recognizing your role in a broader, supportive ecosystem.
All right, that resonates. Now the subconscious mind seems like it's key. How do you fix the disconnect if your subconscious is sabotaging your dreams?
That goes to the heart of manifestation. Boyes highlights techniques like affirmations and guided visualizations. Affirmations are particularly powerful as they directly counteract self-limiting beliefs in your subconscious. Invisible scripts you might not even realize are holding you back, like telling yourself, "I'm just not good at relationships." By repeatedly affirming, "I am deserving of love and connection," you replace those limiting patterns with empowering ones.
Okay, but does simply repeating the same phrase really do anything? Or is it just feel-good nonsense?
It might feel odd initially, but affirmations aren't just words. They're emotional anchors. Repeated with intention and emotion, they gradually reshape how you perceive yourself and what you believe is possible. Pair that with guided visualization and you're essentially training your subconscious to recognize new possibilities. Carolyn shares Roshana's story, who used these practices to overcome deep dissatisfaction, rewriting her internal narrative from "my life is stuck" to "I am capable of thriving." And that change propelled real-life shifts.
So, a total mindset reboot. Like upgrading your internal software to match your ambitions. Makes sense. But what about creativity and physical tools like vision boards? Aren't those also important?
So with these techniques we've talked about, we naturally move into the realm of personal growth and transformation. It's not just about achieving goals, it's about becoming a better version of yourself. We're talking about empowerment and fulfillment here. Let's dive into how manifestation can really nurture your personal growth by helping you overcome those limiting beliefs, develop an abundance mindset, and boost your self-awareness.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me this isn't just about visualizing a new car or a better job? This is about fundamentally changing who you are?
Precisely. Manifestation can work at a much deeper level when you use it as a tool for self-discovery. One of the most transformative parts of this process is identifying and overcoming those limiting beliefs. You know, those sneaky thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," or "success isn't meant for someone like me." They can really hold us back without us even realizing it.
That makes perfect sense. I mean, it's hard to aim high if you're constantly telling yourself you're stuck in the mud, right? But how do you even begin to unravel decades of those ingrained ideas? It seems like a monumental task.
Well, the first step is always awareness. Carolyn Boyes suggests using reflective practices like journaling to identify patterns in your thoughts. Ask yourself, what am I believing that could be holding me back? And once you spot it, then you can start to reframe it.
Reframe it? Like tricking yourself into thinking differently?
Not tricking, shifting. For instance, if you believe, "I always fail at relationships," you can shift it to, "I am learning and growing into creating loving, healthy connections." These reframes, whether through affirmations or journaling, consistently help to rewire your subconscious. Roshana, who we mentioned earlier, started seeing changes as soon as she rewrote her inner narrative. She stopped thinking, "this is how it's always going to be," and started telling herself, "I am capable of a life I love."
Fair enough. And speaking of Roshana, it sounds like her entire frame of mind needed a serious overhaul, but let me ask you this. What happens when someone thinks their beliefs are fine? Are we all walking around in denial without realizing it?
Sometimes, yes, limiting beliefs can definitely operate under the surface. That's why reflective tools are so powerful, like asking whether your life aligns with your dreams. Boyes emphasizes that your outer reality reflects your internal state. So, if something feels off, like constant financial stress or unfulfilling relationships, that's a cue to check for inner blocks.
Okay, so it's like treating the root cause rather than just the symptoms, right? But how does this connect to the abundance mindset you mentioned? I feel like I hear scarcity mindset thrown around a lot these days.
They're absolutely connected. A scarcity mindset keeps you stuck in fear, always feeling like there's not enough money, love, opportunities, you name it. On the other hand, an abundance mindset shifts your focus to the limitless possibilities that are out there. It's not just about having more, it's about recognizing and appreciating the opportunities that already exist.
So it's like flipping the script from I'll never have enough to everything I need is already available? Sounds poetic. So what's the first tangible step?
It starts with gratitude. A daily gratitude practice trains your brain to focus on what's abundant in your life rather than what's lacking. Even small acknowledgments like, I'm thankful for my supportive friends, or I appreciate having a roof over my head, recalibrate your perspective. Over time, it creates a feedback loop. The more you acknowledge abundance, the more you notice it, and the more open you become to receiving it.
So gratitude works like a magnet for abundance? I like that metaphor. What about visualization? How does that support this abundance mindset?
Visualization is how you take those feelings of gratitude and channel them into the what-ifs of your future. Boyes suggests broadening your visualizations to include not just material achievements, but also emotional and relational abundance. Instead of just focusing on a high-paying job, you could imagine feeling confident, fulfilled, and surrounded by supportive colleagues. By expanding what abundance looks like beyond just stuff, you attract it in all its forms.
That's fascinating. But here's a curveball for you. Isn't there a risk of falling into toxic positivity where you just avoid reality? Like everything's fine while ignoring real problems?
Great point, Michelle. That's where self-awareness plays a key role. Manifestation isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about being truthful with yourself while still focusing on possibilities. Mindfulness and meditation are huge here because they teach you to sit with your emotions, even the uncomfortable ones, and gain clarity about your underlying desires. Roshana, for instance, didn't bypass her difficulties. She confronted them and used reflective tools to understand what truly fulfilled her. That combination of honesty and optimism really fueled her transformation.
Got it. Mindfulness helps you process the messy bits, while manifestation builds the roadmap forward. But how does this tie into connecting with something bigger? You know, this whole idea of the universe?
That's where the law of oneness comes in. Recognizing that we're all interconnected helps ground the practice of manifestation in something meaningful, something beyond personal gain. Once you see how your actions influence others, manifestation becomes a way to contribute positively to the world. Improving your career might give you resources to give back to your community. It's a ripple effect, really.
So you're saying manifestation isn't just a personal tool, it's a whole philosophy for living in harmony with others?
Exactly. Boyes describes it as aligning yourself with the universal flow. You grow not just for yourself, but in a way that empowers others too, whether through kindness, encouragement, or simply being a source of positive energy. Inner transformation spreads outward, teaching that manifestation is as much about who you become as what you achieve.
Well, I have to admit, using manifestation to better both yourself and the world definitely bumps it up a few notches from just a self-help fad, you know? What do you think the biggest takeaway is here?
That personal empowerment and fulfillment begin within. Manifestation isn't just about reaching goals, it's a process of aligning with your authentic self, dismantling the beliefs that limit you, and allowing abundance to flow into your life in ways that feel meaningful. And when done thoughtfully, it creates a ripple effect that benefits everyone. So, today we dove into the main ideas from The Art of Manifestation, right? We touched on foundational principles like the law of attraction, the law of oneness, how our thoughts and feelings really shape our experience, and how we're all connected. Then we got into practical stuff, visualization, gratitude, affirmations, things that can actually bring our subconscious and goals into alignment. And finally, we covered how manifestation isn't just about getting rich. It's about growing as a person, building strength, and contributing to something bigger.
Right, exactly. And what really grabbed me was that this is more than just wishful thinking. There's a system here, you know? You're combining your emotions with actual steps to make a real difference. But I think the key is staying self-aware. It's not about avoiding problems or thinking you're better than everyone else. It's about getting in sync with what's truly important to you, to build something solid that benefits not just you but everyone.
Totally. Manifestation is about feeling empowered. It's about becoming your best self and making a positive impact. So for our listeners, I'd say, think about this. What belief do you have that might be holding you back, and how can you rethink it? A small shift in perspective can open the door to huge transformation.
I like that. Just start small, with intention. Maybe write down a few affirmations or, keep a gratitude list this week. It's not about waiting around for your life to change. It's about taking control and making it happen. And hey, if nothing else works, just spend a little time imagining that balcony on your dream house, right?
Exactly. Dream big, but back it up with action. Thanks for tuning in today, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.